Now, residents of Jakande Estate, Ilasan, along the Lekki-Epe Expressway in Lagos have appealed to the Lagos State government to immediately stop the ongoing demolition in the estate. The estate, built in the 1990s by the Lateef Jakande-led administration to resettle displaced Morocco residents, is under threat as demolition continues despite an interim court injunction restraining the state government pending the hearing of a suit filed in 2025. Residents say several peaceful protests at the Etiosa Local Government Secretariat and the Lagos State House of Assembly have failed to yield results, with the latest protest allegedly met with force and police brutality. They also fault the government's compensation plan as inadequate and not reflective of current housing realities in Lagos, insisting they remain open to dialogue while pursuing justice through the courts.
If you go to the estate now, even right now as I'm talking, they're still destroying. And people are miling outside, sleeping on the road, no food, children crying all over the place. Those of us who are widowers and we are aged, we don't even know where to go to.
We are landlords, and you want to turn us to tenants overnight, which has even happened already. The majority of the people right now are desolate. As I speak to you right now, if you come inside the estate, you will see a lot of people wandering. They don't have where to go. They don't know their next whereabouts. Please, we are pleading and we are calling for this Lagos State government, in its person of Sanwo-Olu, to please look into our plight.
We got an interim order of the court to restrain them from destroying the property pending the determination of the suit. The order lapsed sometimes in November 2024, 12th November 2024, and then we got an extension of the order to 4th of February 2026. Now, this order is still subsisting, and to our greatest dismay, the government is demolishing the estate despite the order of the court.
Well, joining us on the show to discuss the ongoing demolition in Jakande is Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, a chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Good morning and welcome to the morning show today.
It's great
to have you. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Happy New Year.
Well, Mr. Rhodes-Vivour, the last time you were here, you were defending persons, families whose houses were demolished in Oworonshuki. And you went there, you visited the place. This time around, it is Jakande Estate, where demolition is also going on.
Yes.
Okay, what's the motivation? Is it, concern for the people's plight? Because as in Oworo, in this Jakande Estate, there was court injunction, which was disregarded. But the state government says it will pay compensation, and is committed to paying compensation. Now, it's good to identify with the people, but in what you wrote on your X account, you went a step further. You said this demolition, power-drunk government in Lagos State must go, has to go. That's the expression you use. But, is it your public-spiritedness that is the motivation, or you are just playing partisan politics? Because when you attack the government and you say the government must go, that's politics. That's no longer identifying with the people.
Thank you so much, sir, for that question. That statement on X that you're referring to came from the fact that I visited Ilasan myself. And I met with a gentleman called Engineer Maru, who had been detained for 3 days. He had just been released a couple of days before I came there. In front of me, they beat this man to coma. In front of me. In front of me, the so-called Taskforce of Lagos State threatened to beat me and harm me, and started beating people that were next to me mercilessly.
If they had beaten you up too, you would not be here.
So when I was there, I saw people were running away, and I turned back and I saw they were running away from task force. So I went to go and meet the task force. You want to beat me? Okay, now do it. And then there were other people next to me, and they started beating them. And when I not moved, they fired tear gas at me. Now, this is the violence that has come to define this government, sir. When you have a lawless government that does not even follow court injunctions, that is talking about compensation, 11.2 million. 11.2 million cannot afford a 2-3 bedroom apartment in that area today. And you see how the government has been turned into an institution for land grabbing. Section 28 of the Land Use Act says that government can take land for overriding public interest. But you see all these lands are being taken for private individuals who are only going to build more expensive housing, create more of the cost of living crisis, and then you now have a huge amount of homeless young men that are just walking around the streets without any shelter. And they cannot afford any shelter. And you see development is constantly at the exclusion of the poor. We talked about Alhaji Jakande's vision. Yes, people were upset how we displaced people, right, for Morocco situation. But then these people were now housed here. Now these people have been here for over 20 years. You're now going there to chase these ones two away, right? Because now the value of land there has increased. And you're not compensating them fairly. Where are they going to go to, right? And they have title documents, but they are destroying their properties and then inflicting violence on them. And this is why I said that this lawless land-grabbing government has to go. Now, if they were kind, empathetic, if they had a plan of inclusive development where they can even section some of the site away and say, this part will be high-density development, the rest of this part will be luxury development. You see a plan of inclusivity, I will not talk. Because development must happen. Cities must grow, cities must develop, but it should not be at the detriment of the poor. Lagos State is over 80% poor. To afford 11.2 million rent, you have to at least be earning almost 2 million a month. How many people in Lagos can afford to earn 2 million naira a month?
I just want to step in, especially when we start using terms like land grabbing, because the Lagos State Building Control Agency, of course, has issued a number of statements on this. And in their statements, because this is ongoing, this has been happening over the years. So this is in 2024. They refer to the shanties and illegal structures that have been developed around formal structures in Jakande and say that they have persistently issued eviction notices. They have tried, and these people don't vacate the premises for obvious reasons. What is the alternate solution that you're providing? Because if you've consistently issued eviction notices to people in shanties, I'm referring to the shanties now and the illegal structures, and they don't vacate, what do you think should be the next course of action?
Thank you so much, because in your statement, you used the keyword shanties. When you look at the statement issued by the Lagos State Agency, they said they are going to destroy the illegal structures and shanties. Now, if that's what they did, I will not say anything. Because like you said, they are illegal structures, right? This is not a situation where these communities like Makoko existed as long as Lagos has existed. So you cannot define them as illegal. But now you are destroying buildings that were built by Alhaji Lateef Jakande. You cannot call those buildings illegal. You let them go into such disrepair. The idea could have been, okay, you know what, let us improve on these buildings. Let us create more social amenities for these people. There must be a place where people that are going to service all the rich people on the island live. There are families that are being destroyed because the fathers are not seeing their children, mothers are not seeing their children. The whole week, they only go back on weekends because they cannot even afford transportation. So, if we are talking about shanties, illegal structures, because yes, there are all these small shanties that are built around there, I will not say anything about that. Your video directly showed buildings being brought down. And those buildings are legal buildings, and the people that own them have title documents.
Okay. How many buildings, how many people there have title documents? Do we have a documentation so we know how many families we're talking about?
I cannot give you a number of the exact number of families, to be honest with you. I've not gone to that detail.
Title documents for
so
all of this.
every unit has a title document.
For the whole unit or for one of the
Each unit has a title document.
Unit,
yes, each unit has a title document. And I've been informed that the Lagos State is offering them 11.2 million.
How many units do we have then in total?
No, there are several units. I have not counted the numbers of that. Yes.
So we know how many, so I just wanted to extrapolate on the numbers. So we know how many thousands of Lagosians we're dealing with.
So that entire complex houses about 4,000 people.
4,000 people.
About 4,000 people, yes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you break that down. A family unit might be 4 people, might be 5 people, might be 6 people. I can't get into that exact number. But that complex house is about 4,000 people, right? And I think even the bigger point is that it's getting harder and harder to find affordable housing in Lagos in general. A lot of work is on the island. There must be accommodation for people to work close, to live close to where they work. And constantly, from Oro or Todogbame to now Jakande, there's like this violent push against the poor.
Okay. What would be an ideal compensation for them? Because like we've seen, they've already demolished on people's buildings and everything. What would be an ideal compensation for somebody that owned maybe a 2 or 3? I don't know how with the flat.
Two bedrooms, 3 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. What would be an ideal compensation for somebody that owned a 2 bedroom? What would be an ideal compensation for someone that owned a 3 bedroom?
Okay, so for me, a humane way of dealing with this is looking at the projected value of that land now that you are going to sell it for. You see with Makoko, they want to sand fill, and after that they are selling each unit for about 600, 700 million, some flats 300, 400 million. But you want to get that kind of money by only paying 11.2 million and demolishing things. I would say, ideally, section some of that land out, build high rises, and let these people relocate them there. So that because there are people that are working, they've lived there, they have friends, they have networks, they have their jobs, this is where they earn a living. Let them still stay in that area, provide social amenities for them. Then you can now have 70% of the land to do the luxury buildings that you want to do, right? Because if we now start saying that, okay, you're going to charge about 300 million per flat in this place, so pay maybe 30 or 40% of that. Then they will now say that then makes the project reduces the feasibility of that project.
I know when we say 300 or 400 million per flat, it's not that easy, because even when they do all the high-end luxury real estate, most of the properties are empty. They do.
Yes.
So you have close to 50-60% of these properties empty. But the question I'd like to ask you is, where are those people going to go as we speak now, the 4,000 people?
Now, this is the problem which I talk about, and it talks to a security problem, because now you have a lot of young, able-bodied men that are just going to hang around. This is all they know. And you just see, this is how people, you see people, you call them street boys, or they will just be around. They will create more shanties, find places where they can create shanties and stay there, right? So that is what will now start causing even more insecurity on the island.
Okay, well, this idea of inclusive
development,
urban development and all that, it has its own risks. But don't let us waste time on that, because you say you build luxury apartments and then you build, you provide an area boy, ordinary people quarters next to the, there could be issues. However, that's not the focus. Now, why pro-people activism is important, is useful and all of that. Apart from, talking to the media, visiting, have you tried directly to engage the state government and said, okay, we are in the opposition, but these are our ideas. Is it possible for you to look at the subject this way? Have you ever done anything like
I've done
to
that.
Provide alternative views?
Sir, I've done that. I've been doing that for years, since the election.
Do you follow the right channel? Do you follow the right channel?
I put out statements, sir. I've even written letters to the government. There was no response to it. I've been to the site. Even the fact that I'm a leading opposition figure in this state, they had the audacity to threaten to harm me with cameras there. This is the level of power drunkenness that has overcome this government. And that's why I said what I said. I could have gone there and I could have met people that explained their position calmly, because nobody was fighting them. Nobody was stopping what they were doing. They've already destroyed the place. They could have explained calmly, but they didn't. Okay. They chose violence. And this violence has been coming. NSAS, the elections, when I wanted to do my affirmation, they sent out, come and destroy the place. But sir, I just want to say something quickly on this coexistence of people. I practiced architecture in England for some time. For us to get planning permission, in the most highbrow places of London or in England, there must be an affordable housing component in that development. And that's what I mean by inclusive development. This is not, the way you treat and humanize people is how they will be in society. If we've looked at people and just say they are no good, we don't provide any amenities for them, we don't care about them, they will be no good. But when you provide amenities for them, schools, education, healthcare, show that there's value to their life, you will see that society will thrive.
Well, thank you so much for lending your voice to this issue.